So the Miracle Hour was something I designed to teach my teams and to teach my clients how they could grow their businesses organically in 1 hour a day and generate leads, close sales, and monetize themselves and or their team members without struggle, without working these ridiculous long hours. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Kelly Roach Show, and today we are unpacking one of my favorite concepts, the Miracle Hour. Now, the Miracle Hour has a long history in my entrepreneurial journey, and it's something that can change your business and transform your life. I have always believed that if you commit to anything for 1 hour a day, not only can you develop mastery, but you can transform any area of your life. And it's true. So let's dig in first to the history of how the Miracle Hour came about. And then let's talk about how you can use the Miracle Hour either yourself or with your team to create explosive and predictable growth in your business. Now, first of all, let's dial the clock back and let's talk about the history of the Miracle Hour. This all started back in my corporate days when I was a senior vice president of a Fortune 500 firm, and I had started my business on the side. Now, I was working between 50 and 60 hours a week in corporate already. I had a very large team. I had a lot of branches I was running and a very heavy workload. And so I was really, truly building my business in the pockets of my spare time. And so this meant usually, maybe an hour before work in the morning, maybe an hour at night. And usually the only time that I had to build my business during daytime hours when people were doing business was on my lunch break. So I had to figure out how in an hour a day I was going to connect and convert new sales in my business to grow it enough that I could leave my corporate job and become a full-time entrepreneur. Now, Billy and I have been together for 17 years. And when we met, we were first dating. I was working my corporate job. He was working his corporate job. He was managing health clubs. He went to school for exercise science. I went to school for communications. I was running multiple branches, and I had not yet started my business. And along the way, as we started kind of talking about the fact that we wanted to spend our lives together and that we wanted to get married, we decided that we were always going to have one of us home with our children or child, and that we didn't want to put them in daycare, and that we really wanted to prioritize present parenting and lifestyle freedom. And so what that meant was we knew that when we got married, one of us was going to end up being home full time. Now, at the time, we didn't know who it was going to be. But over time, I started my business. I fell in love. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do with my life. And so I decided to keep going with my corporate job, build my business on the side, retire Billy, have him be home full time, because this is all happening at the same time that we're getting married. Then we had Madison, right? So I needed to figure out, how can I grow my business in an hour a day while keeping my performance optimal at peak in my corporate job, because they knew about me building my business, and the agreement was that they would kind of let me do my thing and they would leave me alone to build my business as long as I stayed above budget, I met my objectives in the role, my performance didn't slip, my teams remained top performing teams. Okay, so I developed this little thing called the index card method. And I started carrying this index card around with me everywhere I went. And on this index card, what I did was I broke down activities that I could do to build my business when I had 15 minutes, when I had 10 minutes, when I had 5 minutes, when I had 30 minutes. And I literally wrote down every business building activity I could think of, from posting on social media to recording a short video to sending an email to making a phone call to sending a text to a prospect, and everything in between. And this index card was really and truly how I built my business to over $1 million while working my corporate job, and then pivoted into full-time entrepreneurship, and then quickly took my business from 7 onto 8 figures. Okay. So the difference between me and everyone else was that I only had an itty bitty fraction of time to build my business each day. but I was absolutely ruthless with what I did with the time that I did have. And this is perhaps one of the most important concepts for you to use in developing the culture of your team and company, and to allow you to take back your time and build freedom in your business and in your life. And it's also going to be key as you lead your teams to success. It's not about how much time that you have. It's not about how many hours that you work. It is really, truly about the impact and the effectiveness of what you do with that time. Okay? So for me, I was like, okay, I have this hour a day. I am going to connect with as many people as humanly possible. My goal was, if I had 1 hour to build and grow my business, my goal was, let me try and connect with at least 20 people during that hour. Most of those being follow-up touch points with either current customers to get referrals, past customers to get them reactivated, or prospective customers that haven't made a buying decision yet. Easy. And by connecting with 20 people a day in some way, shape, or form, message on social media, a text message, a phone call, an email, I was closing sales consistently, even in an hour a day. Now, fast forward to me building the coaching company, which was my first business of the 6 companies that I have today. When I was building the coaching company, I was the first person in the online business coaching space to bring together the hybrid model of large-scale coaching with one-to-one support. We built the first ever accountability-led coaching model. And what this meant was I had a very expensive staff, to the tune of like $3 million, okay? I think there were years where it was actually even more than that potentially. But I had to make a $3 million investment in building the staff to be able to execute this new model that I was just absolutely certain was going to provide superior results for our customers, which was the whole point and the whole objective of why I was doing what I was doing. And I was right. By the way, it's why we have the track record that we do for having so many of our customers build successful 6 and 7 and now even 8-figure businesses, because they have that high touch customization, custom tailor guidance, support, and advice in an environment where they have the global support of our entire team, multiple brands, a business that has, crossed over the 8-figure mark, all of those things. Okay. So when I built this very expensive staff and this very expensive model for doing business so that I could provide very high touch customized services, I knew that the model would not be sustainable unless I built in something that allowed us to monetize all of these additional staff that we were bringing in to support our clients. There had to be a way to monetize across departments, not just in the sales department, in order for this model to be sustainable. And so I took this index card method that I had used to build my business, and I developed something called the Miracle Hour. Now, the Miracle Hour was the strategy that I put in place that really took us from 7 to 8 figures, obviously coinciding with the live launch method, because that was a huge part of our success, obviously. And this allowed us to make sure that we were generating leads and closing sales both inside and outside of launch, carrying people from launch to launch, and consistently closing high ticket sales and monetizing all different roles in the company, not just sales. And this is important because if you want to have a world-class service team, you want to have a world-class operations team, you want to have a world-class marketing team, and you want to build a business that can run without you, you're going to need to be able to invest in really high caliber talent. And really high caliber talent is really expensive. And so if you rely exclusively on dollars coming from your sales team, you're going to have a really hard time having a little sales team cover the expenses for dozens of people at a high ticket price point. Okay. So I just want you to kind of put all of these things in perspective, because it's not just about generating sales. It's about understanding the relationship between all of these things and how it's going to impact your ability to sustain the business model that you want to create. Okay. So also during this time from when I started the business, where we didn't have live streaming yet, we weren't doing as much social selling yet. Social selling was actually a term that I developed a couple years into the business as things started moving to where almost exclusively everyone was doing business online. So the Miracle Hour was something I designed to teach my teams and to teach my clients how they could grow their businesses organically in 1 hour a day and generate leads, close sales, and monetize themselves and or their team members without struggle, without working these ridiculous long hours, without feeling like they're always burning the candle at both ends. So the Miracle Hour has a couple key components of it. And the Miracle Hour is something you can do live with your team on Zoom each day. It's something that you can do independently. It's something that your clients can do. Like there's so many different applications. But the Miracle Hour is going to be composed of, number one, you creating value for your audience. It's the first thing. When you wake up in the morning, you should say, "Good morning, God. How can I be of service today?" And when you look at how that translates into the way that you interact with the world, the content that you share every single day on your social media platforms is your value. It is your impact. It is how you are showing up and being of service in that moment, in that day. Okay? So the first thing that you're going to do in your Miracle Hour is you're going to add value. I call this putting a deposit in the reciprocity bank. So many business owners want to make a withdrawal, which is getting paid, but they don't have enough investments in the bank to cover the withdrawal that they want to make. So think about it like this. Whatever size godlike dream you have, you want to take home $1 million a month, you want to take home $500,000 a month, you want to take home $50,000 a month, like whatever that looks like for you, you want to make sure that the investment that you're making and the deposit that you're making in your audience supersedes that, so that when you go to make that withdrawal, it's there waiting for you. Okay? So first step, you're going to share something with the world that's going to add value for them. Second step, you're going to engage and respond and reply to anyone who gives you the honor and gives you the time to read your posts and to engage with it. I typically, when I do this, I go back through the last few posts on my page and I look at who has responded. I respond back to them. I engage with them. It's really like you saying thank you for taking the time to engage on your page and to take the time to, be a part of your community. So the second step is engagement on your posts, and you're going to want to do that right after you post, because that's when a lot of people are going to be engaging. And then you're going to want to come back later and do another sweep later in the day. But let's just focus right now on the Miracle Hour. So during the Miracle Hour, first you're going to add value. Then you're going to engage, right? Then you're going to do the same model that I just talked to you about with the index card model, which is you are going to connect with 20 people. 20 people. It's so simple. You can do this in 30 minutes or less. And this could be a Facebook message. This could be an Instagram DM. This could be a text message. This could be a 1-minute video. This could be a 30-second audio. This could be a follow-up email. This could be a follow-up phone call, right? But if you just touch 20 people a day, it could be you sharing a resource. It could be you following up on the last conversation. It could be you extending an invitation, right, to something that you're doing online. It could be any number of things, but you're going to touch 20 people a day that you would like to work with. I'll add that caveat, 20 people a day that you would like to work with. What's so cool about this and why this can be done across all different departments of your company is that your customer service or client services team obviously can be working on upsells. They can be working on getting referrals. They can be working on doing renewals. Your operations team can be working on doing gratitude gifting and reactivating past customers, because that's just very much about staying in front of your past customers, right? Your sales team, obviously, their job is to be talking to prospective customers, right? You can have a member of your team that's focused on internal upsells from your internal buyers list, right? So you can have all different people in your company that are targeting all different segments of how you can generate sales, from referrals to renewals to upsells to reactivations and everything in between. Okay, so you're going to touch 20 people a day. Now, this is the biggest place why business owners go into feast or famine all the time, because they're inconsistent in their follow-up in what I like to call relationship management. Now, in 2024, the most important element of your success is going to be relationship management, because people are sitting in the ecosystem longer. They're being more discerning with their buying decisions. They're taking a little longer to get to the yes. So if you're not staying in touch with them, if you're not consistently continuing the conversation with them, they're going to kind of do what humans naturally do, which is procrastinate, put the decision on the back burner, and that decision may honestly never come. Okay, so it's up to you to facilitate that decision. So you're going to post, you're going to engage, you're going to touch 20 people, okay, to move the relationship forward. It's simply relationship management. You're going to make an offer, right? This is so crazy to me. This is the wildest thing about online businesses and people in online businesses and on online sales teams. They will do activity all day long without making a single offer to anyone. Think about that for a second. How does a business stay in business if you go day after day and no one's making an offer to anyone? Or if the only time someone's making an offer is when you're on camera during lunch? That's insane, right? You cannot sustain a business that way. So part of your miracle hour is making offers every day, making offers every day. So you can be making offers publicly or you can be making offers privately. Publicly, you can make offers on your Instagram stories, on your LinkedIn posts, on your feed of anything that you're creating, on a live stream. You can be selling directly from a live stream, right? There's all different ways that you can make offers publicly, but you can also be making offers privately. And if you have a sales team, your sales team should be making 15, 20 offers a day, okay? A private offer is when you're following up with someone who has already been in your ecosystem for a while. They've been through your content. They have know, like, and trust already in place. They're down towards the bottom of that 85% plus segment of the funnel. And now you're inviting them to take that next step. So-and-so, are you still interested in achieving ABC XYZ result? Are you ready to get started? Right? So simple, so basic. Okay. So the third big component of your miracle hour is going to be making offers. Actually, that's the fourth component because we talked about adding value, talked about engaging, talked about connecting, right? Talked about making offers. And then the fifth component is actually engaging on the feeds of the people that you'd like to work with. So how do you create top of mind awareness? How do you add value for the people that you'd like to work with? Well, obviously, when you engage on someone's social media, you boost their social media in the algorithm. You're doing them a huge service when you engage on their social media because they are now going to get more views on their content and more people are going to see it because you engaged on it. So that's number one, an easy way to add value for the people that you want to work with. Number two, how do you create consistent top of mind awareness with the people that you'd like to work with, the people that you would like to get to pull from a general engagement on social media into a more specific one in a consultation or in a follow-up conversation? Well, of course, you can do that by engaging on their social media and then ultimately moving that conversation from social media into the DMs. Okay? So that is your miracle hour. Now, all of this can be done in 1 hour or less a day. And here's the amazing thing. Most business owners spend 2 to 3 hours a day doing work to avoid the thing that could just get them the result that they want, right? This 1 hour a day called the miracle hour can literally probably replace 10 to 20 hours of things that you're doing each week to try and get to the result that aren't getting you a result by just getting the result. And the way I describe this is going from A to Z just to get from A to B. And whether you believe it or not, chances are both you and members of your team are doing this every single week, where you're doing so much work than you need to be doing in order to grow your business. Now, I had the opportunity to test this on one of our new companies this past year, and we had explosive growth. I think we grew by almost 100%. We almost doubled in one of my new companies this year with zero advertising, zero using my face or name to build the brand, zero day-to-day involvement from me. We built a brand new team from the ground up. We promoted a leader from one of my existing companies over. And we were able to use the Miracle Hour as the core driving force of the entire growth strategy for this business without launching, without paid advertising or marketing and without leveraging the brand reputation that we had already built. And this was very important to me because as a business mentor, I am always looking at what would I do if I was starting over? What would I do if I didn't have funds for advertising? What would I do if I were starting a new brand and didn't have a 10-year or 11-year track record behind me? Well, here is your answer. I just laid it all on the field for you. So now the only question is, what will you do with it? Will you put the miracle hour in place for yourself and for your team? Will you step up to the plate as a leader? Will you claim that $1 million breakthrough that you want and deserve? Because it is there for the taking. There are billions of people on social media all day, every day, that are waiting for the right person to cross their path and to help them to get the transformation or result that they desire. And they want and need you. They just don't know it yet. The Miracle Hour is the way that you're going to create that intersection. Now, scroll on down below this podcast, below this video that you're watching, and there is an amazing checklist that I've put together for you so that you can implement the Miracle Hour, or you can use the checklist to train your team on how to implement the Miracle Hour. So what are you waiting for? Scroll on down below this video now, claim your checklist, commit to the Miracle Hour, and let's grow. Thank you so much for listening to the Kelly Roach Show. If you enjoyed this episode, do me 2 solids. Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review so other people can find the life-changing content that we share here. We're on our way to #1, and we need your help getting there. Thanks so much for being a part of the community and for tuning into the show each and every week.